Day 3, here we go. Day 3 is called Sharing Meals, and it is a continuation of talking about the peace and fellowship offerings. So Jesus invites us to share meals with those that can't repay us. Like, it's a lot more significant to share a meal with somebody who can't repay you, as it was way back then. So back then, if you remember from yesterday, having a peace or fellowship offering meant taking something from your flock or herd. And of course, if you were poor, you didn't have a flock or a herd. So to be invited into this meal was very significant. To share a meal was to be in right standing with the person you were sharing a meal with. You would never share a meal with an enemy or a member of another religion. Even in your own circle of friends, you wouldn't eat together if someone was holding an offense. So this makes the story of Jesus offering Peter a meal on the shore after his resurrection really significant, to say, hey, I know you betrayed me 3 times, but here I'm welcoming you back into a right relationship with me. And then the prodigal son coming home and the father killing the fatted calf and all of that, he was saying, I'm welcoming you back into a right relationship. It's like no small thing. I know you guys know it's no small thing, but anyway, I even think of, today we say, go to bed without eating dinner for kids, getting in trouble. And that just would have been a terrible punishment back in biblical days. The kid would have been like, I'm not in right relationship with my parents. I mean, I don't know who thought of that, but it's really quite a punishment. Maybe not cognitively now, but maybe something in our spirit still knows sharing a meal with somebody is significant. So just think about that. I also bring up Peter in Acts 11, 1 through 18, when he was told to go eat at the Gentile homes. And he was like, oh, heck no, dude. I don't touch unclean things. Back then Gentiles were unclean. Anyway, and then Jesus eating meals with tax collectors and sinners. It was shocking. This wasn't, some little nothing thing. So all of those stories that I just mentioned, I have a little section right here for you to go back and pick which one that you're least familiar with, and pick the least familiar of these stories in bold and write down anything. Did I even make them in bold? Typo. This is really good for me to go through this and find these things and say, okay, I gotta go back and change this. It's okay because I did it on CreateSpace, and CreateSpace you can just go back and switch things. And technically I didn't edit it myself. So these are things that my editor didn't find. That's okay. Okay, so stories in bold, and write down anything that stands out to you, be it a part of their story or something God speaks to you as you read. So your choices are Peter on the shore, that's found in John 21, 7 through 19, the prodigal son, Luke 15, 11 through 24, Peter with the Gentile home thing, Acts 11, 1 through 18, and Jesus eating with tax collectors and sinners, Matthew 9, 9 through 12. So pick one and do that little bit. Okay, and before we move on to the next Old Testament offering, I want to take a minute to talk about peace, since the fellowship offering is also called the peace offering. Have you guys done the Priscilla Schreier study on Armor of God? I highly recommend it, and that is what I talk about just a little bit right here, because she goes through each of the armor things in detail. And week 4, she talks about the sandals of the gospel of peace. And I had not viewed peace in the way that she mentioned until I read this. I had viewed it kind of as a delicate thing, meaning it's easy to lose your peace, but it is not weak or soft, which I'll get to in a second. In 2016, God, because it was a very rough time, God had said, hey, Mikie, I want you to start washing your feet. Just all throughout the day, he'd be like, go wash your feet. I'm like, geez, my feet don't stink like when I was a teenager, God. Why am I washing my feet all the time? I knew it wasn't about stinky feet. But he just kept saying, go wash your feet, go wash your feet, go wash your feet. And so I would be washing my feet 5 times a day sometimes, and I always washed them before I went to bed. That was like one of the main things. He's like, go wash your feet. You're about to go to bed. I'm like, yes, sir. Thanks, God. But what it was is he was reminding me to keep my peace. You know, when Jesus comes in and he says, or not, that's a different story. Jesus, I think he's talking to Peter, I think. And Peter says, well, never mind just my feet. Go ahead and wash the rest of me. And Jesus says, no, if you're a clean dude, all you need is your feet washed. And again, that was just God just driving home. Look, your peace is easy to lose. You need to constantly be renewing your peace, constantly washing your feet. And I know that you don't need to physically wash your feet all the time. That's not what I'm trying to say. It was just something that he did with me over the period of a year to really drive home, keep your peace, Mikey. Because peace is crazy important. So anyway, Priscilla refers to Ephesians 2:14. For Christ himself has brought peace to us. He united Jews and Gentiles into one people on the cross, blah, blah, blah. So what she is pointing out there is that he came to bring peace. Peace is a uniting. Peace is a bringing together. And this uniting thing, unity, is, I mean, he says he's coming back for a unified bride. Talks all the time about unity, unity, unity. And what do? We're like, denomination, 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 denomination. Let's just split up as much as possible. No unity. Come on now, let's fight about something else. Anyway, soapbox, woohoo. So there is a peace that guards our minds in Christ Jesus, Philippians 4:7. But there's also this unifying force of peace that brings people together. In the context of the armor of God, Priscilla points out that the sandals were unique to them. The soldiers had unique sandals because, you know, armor of God, she's going through this soldier thing. And nobody else wore that kind of shoes. They had spikes on their soles, and the sound of a soldier, not to mention a whole army, traipsing through like these cobblestone streets was very intimidating. So all of these things can be applied spiritually, what she does in her study, of course. From peace being a distinguishing factor that identifies us as part of God's army, to our peace being intimidating to the enemy. There is, I can't stress, like there's nothing more intimidating to the demons, which is whatever you're dealing with, to just be like, yeah, I'm in perfect peace because I'm sitting inside Jesus here, crowned in victory already. Whatever you're doing, it's not disturbing my peace. And they're like, yeah, come on. You know, they just want to get a rile out of us. It's like the bully on the schoolyard. They just want to see you cry. They just want to see you crumble. They just want to see you get upset. And if you don't, and you're like, meh, brushing it off, it ain't affecting me, demon. So keep your peace. So not only do I war with great confidence now, usually, can't say 100%, I am not perfect. I am still human. Victory is already won, but I don't face battles alone anymore. Get yourself your good army, your friends who know Jesus, who know how to pray, who are good intercessors, and stand united in your warfare. Don't battle by yourself. Okay. So, with all of this in mind, gaze back on the peace fellowship offering and the foot washing. Let the impact of keeping in perfect peace those whose hearts are set on him, Isaiah 26:3, permeate your thoughts and encourage you to put on those sandals. Find others who are also wearing the armor and regularly eat meals with people, joining in fellowship, renewing relationships, and crossing boundaries with the Prince of Peace. Most importantly, offering everything up to the source of it all, Creator God. Okay, so the last little bit is, and again, little typo of, that should all be one block of lines. I got 2 blocks of lines. It should all be one. So if you really are like buying the book right now, before all these typos get fixed, like you can be like, aha, I got the non-type or the non-fixed version, and feel lucky or something, even though I'm very sorry for the little things that I will go back and fix. So if you want to wait until all of these videos are done, because I don't don't think I'm going to go through it before I get to it. I realize that to some of you guys, you're like, what? You're not like reading through it before you talk to us live on camera? Not that it's actually live, but I'm not going back to change anything. So it is live, but it's not. Yeah, I really am not. I'm an artist. Hi. I don't like to do things twice and 3 times and 4 times. I like to do it. Spur the moment and then be done. Okay. That's just a little side tidbit about myself. So I'm not going to read through the whole book, fix it, and then get it ready for you. If you buy it now, it's just going to have some typos. So far, I haven't found anything too bad. So you're fine. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Think back to yesterday's writing prop. Oh, so your first, the one that we did about the first thoughts as to why the local church was important to bring your sacrifices. So now, with the additional insight due to Priscilla's teaching about peace as a unifying power and able to intimidate the enemy, write your second thoughts as to why the local church is important and why it is that we should be in constant fellowship with a whole bunch of other leaders in God's army, right? Okay. I gotta pimp the book a little bit more. Anyway, that is all for day 3. There's only one more day of this week, but tomorrow I'm leaving, woohoo, road trip with my girl Laura, and we're gonna go down to the Imagine conference with Sean Bowles, B-O-T-Z, B-O-L-T-Z, Bolts. Delete. And Graham Cook and some other guys. It should be fun. So I might not do this tomorrow morning because I will be on the road. So whenever I get back to you and all of that, enjoy, have fun, God bless, say your prayers, brush your teeth, as I tell my kids. Say your prayers and brush your teeth. They're both old, so I don't get to always be with them when they say their prayers and brush their teeth. Bye.